Greetings, love. Before we dive into the topic of this newsletter, I invite you to take a moment and notice how you feel in your body. How do you feel at this moment? You're invited to take 3 deep breaths from the top of your head down to the soles of your feet. Feel your body here and now. Notice any sensations you might be experiencing in your body. Where in your body do you have any sensations? Could your body use movement? Could your body use movement, water, time outside? I invite you to notice your breath. Honor your body and pay attention to what you need and how you need it throughout engaging in this newsletter. Hearing, reading, and talking about suicide isn't the easiest conversation to engage in, but September is Suicide Awareness Month. There are many of us who know people that have chosen to take their own life, people that felt like this world no longer held anything harmonious for them. My friend Rocky felt alone, undervalued, and like no one really saw who she was and how she chose to see the world. She chose inner life. She was the first person close to me that ended their life by suicide. I recently read the last note Rocky wrote to us, the world. I hadn't read this message in over 2 years. I didn't know how I would feel when I sat with her thoughts again. Now that I've less grief and despair, thoughts I feel important enough to share with the world now. A time when people are choosing to take their lives instead of living during these dark times. Rocky didn't think the world was made for her, the way she thought, moved, and felt. Rocky saw relationships different than most. She believed in deep, non sexual relationships. She prioritized her friendships and wanted a circle of close friends. She wanted ceremonies where best friends make public commitments to each other that they are then held accountable to. Rocky knew that people need other people, not just to survive, but to thrive. She had a deep desire to be free and loved with and by people. Lacking the type of close relationship she was seeking, along with the ills of capitalism, was distressing to her. She asked, why should I work so hard and hustle and distract myself only to fully live for an hour or two? She blamed her inability to fully live on capitalism. She inquired about the need to work for money and spend it running on the capitalistic hamster wheel. The hamster wheel is what makes it hard to actually connect and experience meaningful connection, Rocky mentioned in her last letter. Making powerful inquiries. How are you supposed to lock hands with another hamster on a neighboring wheel when you're just sprinting on yours to survive? This question is what Rocky was aiding me answering when she was helping me with the strategic planning for love and healing work. We wanted to assist people create space in their life to find balance between working and meeting their bottom line while cultivating deep connections with themselves and others. Rocky's assistance helped me think about how to systemize human centered practices. Rocky was my friend and consultant. It was difficult for me to continue love and healing work tasks after she chose to leave this world. She saw suicide as an utilitarian solution to minimize pain and maximize happiness for all people. She felt that teenagers and young adults whose prefrontal cortexes are not yet fully formed are those that should be kept alive. She saw suicide as a right that I matured into accepting. After her death, it was hard to acknowledge that a person should be able to choose how they die just as much as how they lived. There was nothing any of us could do to shift her desire to leave this world. She tried various forms of therapy, meds, and other interventions and still wanted to leave this world. I learned to embrace unconditional love in a new way with Rocky leaving this world. I chose to love her deeper, even after her choice. Now that the world no longer has such a beautiful soul, I honor her through her words. I keep her memory alive through continuously challenging how capitalism impacts how I engage with myself and others. I hold my personal relationships intimately and sacred. I make space for others to be who they are, the way they are, without guilt or shame. Rocky's life taught me the importance of relationships. Her death showed me the power of choice, the power in choosing how I live in each moment. Life is about choice, and so is death. As we become aware of what suicide is and how it can show up in our lives and those around us, I invite you to honor your emotional journey. It's okay to be honest with those we love about how we are feeling and what we want. We can release the idea that it's none of our business to check in and on the people we love. We can choose to address how we acknowledge those we love when they're experiencing suicide ideations. We can create healthy and loving ways to engage without harming ourselves or others. Since Rocky left this earth, I know three other people who chose to leave this world on their terms too. Each one of them stated that being on earth didn't align with who they are and what they needed. Suicide is real, and our fellow humans deserve grace and space to be human. Let this month be one where we choose to connect deeply to ourselves and lovingly with others. Let us remember that people suffer in silence. Be kind and graceful to yourselves. I know you're enough. Drink water and take care of yourself with endless love and warmest blessings. Me, Fatima Mann, JD, 200-hour trauma conscious yoga instructor. Today's affirmation on community care. I am not alone. I can be cared for by and with others. Find peace within. Love and healing bi-monthly connections. It's finally here. Various bi-monthly virtual connections for us to come together with kindness, compassion, and grace for ourselves and others. This break is a moment to engage in loving healing practices that aid in self-regulation and self-reflection to assist in self-actualization. These connections are opportunities to connect with others that have engaged in love and healing practices, experiences, and or would like to. These spaces was created for us to build community and love and healing. All registration links are on our Linktree page. Identify which connection would work for you and join us. All sessions are donation based. Give if you can, and if you cannot, it's okay. Come get this medicine. Women of the Global Majority Connection. Love and healing work were co-birthed by two beings the world calls Black women, women of the global majority. We are aware of what it means to be in a body that isn't honored, respected, or treated as human. We took a break from curating spaces, but recognize the power of being connection where love is palatable. We know what it's like to be the only Black woman in a space and the energy it requires to stay grounded, rest, relax, and not care about the statistics that continuously illustrate that Black women and other women of the global majority don't matter to industries and systems. Instead of complaining about not seeing spaces where Black women and other women of the global majority can heal, be seen, and be connect with themselves, we cultivated a space. We know that self-identifying women of global maturity from various backgrounds and places without the artificial construct of whiteness also endure being stripped from ancestral practices to exist under their colonizers' rule. We are in a time of unity, and women of global majority need intentional spaces to unite. These virtual spaces will be interactive and include breakout sessions so that we are diving deeper into our healing by connecting with others from similar and different backgrounds. We are aware that struggles we are aware that the struggles women of global majority face might look different, but the impacts we face are equally harmful. This space is for all self-identifying women of global majority who wish to have a love and healing reset through the week. This space is for wanting to connect, learn, and reflect with others on their self-love journey while caregiving and working. Guided by me, Fatima Mann, JD, this space is for caregivers and professionals wanting to connect, learn, and reflect deeper with themselves and others. As women of the global majority, we need space to process how we can heal and be in community together. We're the backbones and doormats of most of our communities, and it's time we continuously prioritize ourselves and our well-being. It's time for us to remember our power and connect with others on a similar or same journey. Join us every second and fourth Wednesdays at one or both connections at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time and 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. First session, September 10th. You don't have to burn out to be great. We can choose ourselves every day. Click the link to register, choosing the connection that works for you. Loving Healing Collective Connection. Loving Healing work was co-birthed to help the people that help people. We wanted there to be connections with people and professions that persist on burnout. We wanted to create space for people who engage in professions that induce stress, that leads to alcoholism, high divorce rates, and mindless connection with others. We wanted to have space for people to reset their humanity and gather and to ground in mindfulness. Loving Healing work was co-birthed by a lawyer, someone who knows the energy working to change the world takes. Fatima has advocated at Austin City Council and the Texas legislature in the pursuit to shift cultural norms and and inequitable laws. Knowing the stress lawyers, frontline organizers, and those working in the not for profit sector is why we focus on the people that help people. These spaces are for us to gather so that we know we aren't alone. A space to be around people willing to expand their consciousness, shift how they live and work. A space for us to acknowledge the horrors and joys in the world. Join us for community care, focus on grounding us in our humanity every first and third Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time and 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Sessions begin September 16th. Deconstructing white privilege monthly connections. Whiteness is an artificial construct that comes with limiting beliefs, behavioral standards, morals, and values, just like all the other artificial constructs. Love and Healing Works co-birther, Fatima Mann JD, curated space for people that identified with the artificial construct of whiteness to connect, heal, and address the artificial construct of white privilege in 2020. This space was created to provide a space to acknowledge the impacts of the artificial construct of whiteness without shame or guilt, a space to acknowledge how the artificial construct of race and whiteness harms everyone. This was a healing and training experience for people that wanted to shift their consciousness and engage differently with themselves and those that don't benefit from the artificial construct of whiteness. These monthly connections are opportunities for people that identify with the artificial construct of whiteness to discuss practices that have assisted them in curating human centered spaces in their personal and professional lives. It is an opportunity to be guided through discussions on how to acknowledge and deconstruct the limiting beliefs that come with the artificial construct of whiteness and how to utilize the artificial privilege to deconstruct harmful systems. This is also an opportunity to be surrounded with other co-conspirators of humanity that want to do great work without harming themselves or others. This space is for those that are aware of whiteness and its privilege as an artificial construct. Join us once a month. Register for as many sessions as you choose. First session, September 23rd at noon Central Standard Time. Register at our Linktree link. Let's work together. I'm Fatima. I have over a decade of experience working with groups to do great work while mitigating harm in the process. I've spent time learning and practicing how to organize people and collectives to bring sustainable change to communities. I've guided hundreds of people through learning practices and tools to regulate their nervous system and shift how they think and engage with themselves and others. And I can do this for you. I can do this through our healing experiences and retreats, transformative consulting and training, keynote speaking and panel discussions, as well as our self-love one-on-one sessions. I would happy and love to connect with you. Press the Let's Connect link and let's get together to do great work. You are amazing. Thank you so much for listening to our newsletter. Please drink water. Have an amazing day.